I'm Hunt Slonem. I'm in New York in my studio, and I am very, very sorry that I'm not there with you in Naples for the opening of the show of my work with you. I'm very excited and pleased to have this exhibition. I know you don't do very many, if any, one-person shows, and I'm completely supportive of any institution or programs that help children have art in their lives, as it's not taught the way it used to be when I was growing up. And I think it's really extremely important for children to see whatever is possible in the arts, to be inspired and know that there are alternatives to other forms of endeavor in the world. And this is one of the most fulfilling to me of anything I observed as a kid. Anyway, and I know you're having interactive pieces with the work. I'm really thrilled that there is such a thing as children's museums today, and I'm enormously happy to be part of this one. Thank Bill Meek for making this possible, and I'm showing a range of my work that dates back probably 40 years to today. Nature having been my jumping off point for most of my work in life in the arts. Okay, I wanted to be an artist from as long as I can remember. I can't remember ever wanting to do anything other than that. My grandfather painted, not full-time, but he was very sharing and giving of his work. He would send us paintings all the time, so I grew up with the smell of wet oil paint even as a little kid. And I grew up in a military family, which didn't endlessly fascinate me or hold my attention, so I developed this huge fantasy life of escaping into my work and my painting and long walks in the woods and observing animals as much as possible. And I also had dreams as a child about tropical places and very interesting forms of nature, which I've always referred to as exotica, which I love that term to sort of sum up my subject matters. I also was able to, I saw a lot, and we traveled a lot when I was growing up and also through most of my life. And I brought all of these ideas and places into my psyche, and I have used my art to house all of these experiences, either through the form of color or actual things that I've seen. I've lived with most of the birds that I paint, and I have raised rabbits and butterflies. I've always collected old collections and also collected butterflies as a kid, which I'm sort of embarrassed to say. But nothing excited me more in this world than color and the shapes and colors of what's found in nature through plants and animals. Bird forms all over the world are so different and have influenced people since the beginnings of this universe. You can see capes and cloaks and apparel that is totally derived from the plumage of birds and has been for thousands of years. In Hawaii, when I was a kid, we saw the king's capes, which were made from the mamo birds, which are now extinct. And that's another thing that I'm trying to point out, is that a lot of nature is only with us for a short period of time because we're decimating their environments and cutting down rainforests, and these are the only places much of these wild creatures can survive in. So it's a real statement on observing nature and memorizing it, because we're not going to be seeing a lot of the forms in the future. Think that, involving yourself in art making is about one of the most captivating things that one can do. I loved assignments as a kid. In school, I was very blessed to have art still taught in public schools, which I understand it is not to a great degree today. So any little sharing that I can do to bring it back, or to have people see what I do and hopefully have them get excited in their own ways, makes me very happy. And I think this is one of the most exciting things on the planet, to look at art and the arts. So through this show of a huge cross-section of my work over a very long period of time, I hope to share with you some of what's brought me great excitement in life. That if you want to be an artist, or if you think of yourself as an artist, you have to work hard and do it all the time. And a lot of people think doing work is a punishment, or they'd rather be doing something else, but it's actually very fun. And the more you plunge into it, the subtler and greater some of the rewards from it are. But it takes a lot of diligence and persistence, and it's not just like a one-shot deal. I mean, if you really want to be an artist, it's a serious thing to take on, and it takes enormous stick-to-itiveness. And especially today, it can be profoundly rewarding in all senses of the word. And I don't think there's anything else. Well, I don't know, we're all different. So, I mean, and also being an artist today can mean any number of myriads of things. I chose painting because that's what I saw. I didn't really know about what was going to come next. And you know, there's so many ways in which one can pursue art. I chose a rather ancient and old-fashioned way in painting, but I love it, and I still love doing it every day, and it's kind of what glues me together. So I've found my way through the world that way, and I've traveled through the world with my art. So I would just encourage everyone to pursue it, persist, don't give up, don't listen to others too much, and you know, see as much as you can while you're young, and then settle down completely and do your thing. Once it takes off, it's just all encompassing. There's not much more time for anything but doing your art, and it's a pleasure for me, and a joy, and an endless sense of inspiration. I never pause without anything to say or do in my work. I do travel and find inspiration from taking breaks periodically. Thank you again, and I wish I could be there with you, and best of luck with the opening.